Hey yo, it is your truly Lamar Decina, aka Mr. Kool Spot, aka Lyrical Storyteller,
Hey, hey,
aka Limo, aka backslash the Gator.
I feel like North Carolina should have something dope like that, but it ain't got nothing. When I'm be like, AKA the city of Oaks, it don't
Right, aka backslash Bull City.
You know what? I do
We
live in
can
the
do
Bull City. I'm gonna
backslash
be
Bull
here
City.
4 years.
Yeah, we can do backslash Bull
Okay,
City.
backslash. Okay, so
Yeah.
free the poet, AKA Sharita,
Yeah.
AKA Miss Bull
Miss
City.
Bull City. Okay.
But represent where you at, okay,
You
y'all.
got
Represent
to.
where you from.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. So Free,
but
what's up, Free? How you feeling, man? What we doing
you
today?
know what? I'm feeling good. We've been hitting these
Yeah,
affirmations. We have what we say that we have. We have the peace that we desire.
yeah.
So it's been good.
It has been. It has been.
A
Yeah.
long
So,
week, a long week led to an amazing Saturday
oh
afternoon
man.
with some kings that just literally brought a lot of joy. And just
Yeah.
thinking about this panel discussion that we're gonna have
Mhm.
on next Saturday, the 22nd at noon.
Mhm.
I'm super excited, and I know that people are going to get fed.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, not only that physical fed, but that spiritual, that mental, that something that's going to resonate with your soul and leave you
Yeah.
with some questions, hopefully some motivation to go do something,
Yeah.
be a part of the
Absolutely.
change. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm
I'm excited.
excited.
Yeah, we excited. It's phenomenal. Like I went through. I ain't gonna lie. This week has been hell. It's been a hell week for me out here in this on this
Mhm.
truck. But you know how it is. Like every time we want to do something good, I always talk about the first step in spirituality is believing in something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Having faith in something. Once you have faith in something, you enter yourself in the first realm of spirituality. With what
Mhm.
comes spiritual attacks. I had to keep reminding myself that all week, Free.
Mhm.
All
It was a little
week.
rough. It was a little shaky this week. I said,
It's
"Holy
been
moly!"
rough now. It's been but the reward though, tonight has been a night that I will remember always and forever because these four kings that we're interviewing, that we've just interviewed, or that we're still interviewing, because we have one more tonight, right now. These four
Mhm.
kings that we've been interviewing for next Saturday, January 22nd, the panel discussion that we're having. I promise you guys are going to be blown away. Like everything that we've been discussing has been on point. It's been on par. It's relevant. It's everything that you guys need to expect next Saturday, plus more.
Mhm.
Because now we bring all these strong-minded individuals together, and we're able to dialogue and build. You think just us three, me, Free, and the guests as just the small group has been dynamic. Next weekend, Saturday, January 22nd at 12 o'clock noon, right here on the Kool Spot, live streaming live. It's gonna be phenomenal.
It
So who we
is.
got? Who we got, Free? Let's talk
So
about it.
let
Let's
me
go
let me
ahead.
tell y'all a little bit about this king, okay?
Yeah.
So we have Divine Lipscomb, and he's a
Hmm.
native New Yorker, okay?
Yeah.
He's resident of the Centers County for over a decade,
Hmm.
and he finds his distinct interest in alternative practices within the
Mm.
carceral system, and
Mm.
why he advocates for numerous social justice causes, okay? So he
Hmm.
takes on equality and representation stems from typically being unaccounted for. As
Mm.
a person that's been directly impacted by incarceration, housing insecurity, pre-detention education settings, and police violence, Divine adds a diversified set of characteristics to the structural spaces he occupies.
Hmm.
And if that one a mouthful, y'all, like
Come on.
to me, just that part of the bio is kind of like, when you hear something, you hear about somebody, you're like, let me sit up a little bit. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Perk up a little bit. Let me
they
gotta
gonna
talk
teach me
about it.
something. Like,
Yeah.
let's sit down and learn something. So I definitely feel like this is going to be a great build, and we want you all to get to know him.
Yeah.
Because the panel discussion has such four heavy hitters on it, we wanted to start doing these intros in advance, because
Hmm.
Saturday, like we said, it's game time, so you don't have time to meet them. Here's their
Hmm.
name, let's start talking,
Hmm.
because we know that they're coming from literally four different sides.
Hmm.
And so once you have those four different elements, now we got to talk about how we coexist, how we work together, how we build.
Hmm.
And so I'm waiting. I'm counting down. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just on the countdown after today. You know what I'm saying? 6
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After today, we got 6 days and
All
counting.
right. All
So
right.
I'm ready for y'all to meet Divine. Are y'all ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now him and Lamoy have known each other for quite
Quite
a
some
long
time.
time.
Yeah.
And to just hear them talk and to hear
It's
them,
yeah.
you
It's
know,
been
be
over 10 years.
supportive.
Free, I believe it's been over
Oh,
10
more
years.
than a decade. See, and just
It's
to hear
been.
them like, support each other and show brotherly love to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. It's important to see these black kings doing amazing things, and also to just be a black woman in that same environment and sharing space with them, and just being able to see the love that's transcending. And I'm happy. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me do this, y'all. Let me do it again. All right. Here goes Divine. Let's welcome him to the stream.
Peace, beloved.
Peace, beloved. Peace, queen.
Hey,
How
how you
are we this
doing?
evening?
Man, we good, brother. We good, man. Let me get this out the way, man, because we've known each other. I believe it's been a decade, if not
Yes.
more. And just from where we've come from to where we are today, the growth, exponential growth that we could actually witness as individuals, man. I just want to say, man, super proud of you. I call you king for a reason. I call you beloved for a reason, bro, because I love what you're doing. I call you successful. You know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
about the finances or the following or none of that. It's about what you're doing and what you're contributing back to the community. I feel like that's important above all else. It's not about no titles. It's about your drive and your passion for the people, man. Thank you, King. I appreciate you and I'm proud of you, man. It's good to
Thank
see you, brother. Good to
It's
see
good to
you,
see
brother.
you too.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been 2011.
Has it
We
2011?
yeah,
Y'all
like
11 years.
yeah, when we moved to North Carolina briefly,
Oh
and
wow.
and y'all embraced us right
Yeah.
when we knew no one.
Yeah.
Y'all welcomed us and made us feel loved, and that love
Yeah.
has only continued to grow over the years. So it's
Yeah.
an honor to be sharing this space with you tonight
Man.
on this platform.
Yeah. Shout out
And
to
it's a
Joseph Pridgeon. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Joseph Pridgeon, man. Pastor
Joseph and
P.
Jarrell, yeah,
Shout out to Jarrell Pridgeon, Joseph Pridgeon, Derek McKnight, all of the
yes.
brothers, man. All of the
We
brothers.
used to rap in the spot.
Yeah. Be in church,
Oh,
be in church in the church house rapping
Yes,
and everything. I remember
yes.
everything, man. It was cool.
Giving us
Yeah,
that goodness. But yeah,
yeah,
thanks for having me.
yeah.
you're welcome.
Absolutely, absolutely. Free. You want to start us off, Free?
I am. Hold on, because I forgot to let everybody know where they checked into. Like, how out of order am I?
It's all right. It's
Hold
all
on.
right. No, you good. You good. You good.
No.
You good. Looking at
Okay.
the time. We good.
Well,
Yeah, we're looking at the
all right.
time. We good. Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, yes, let's go ahead and get started because we want to know a little bit about you. We want to know. I know
Mm-hmm.
I gave a brief synopsis of your background, but something tells me there's just so much more to
Oh
you.
man, yeah.
Uh, I'm bashful and modest, so
Okay.
I'm gonna say that right now. But yes, I'm a native New Yorker. You already told everyone that. Born and
Mhm.
raised in Brooklyn. Um, I am I am a formerly incarcerated scholar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently finishing up my undergrad degree here at Penn State University.
Nice.
Um, I already hold an associate's degree from Monroe College in
Mm-hmm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a father.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a husband. Uh,
Yeah.
two very important identities
Yeah.
that I hold. I I guess I'll get this out of the way now. I'm also the first African American council member uh, in State College,
Come on,
PA.
black man.
Um, yeah, and definitely the first formerly incarcerated council member. Um,
Yeah, that's
so
important. That's
yeah,
important. Yeah,
but overall, I'm just a black man experiencing this thing called life,
yeah,
and trying to do the best I can with what I got for myself and for my community.
yeah. That's phenomenal, man. That's phenomenal. Shout out to your wife, Tari, too, right? Tari.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Shout out to the wife, man. Tell her we say hello here at the Kool
I
Spot.
will. I will.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, but yeah, so let's talk about your humble beginnings because you were incarcerated once. And I know because again, I shared this briefly. I guess a lot of people don't really know my background and my story, but I too was an ex-gang member, a statistic, and used to run with the Haitian gang back in Florida called Zopound. I've robbed,
Mhm.
I've high-speed chased with the police, sold drugs, broken houses, broken cars. Um, you name it, just about I've done it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And in a short period of time, I've done it. I'm the last of my family, the baby of the family. So it didn't take me to have to go through it over and over and over and over and over again to learn. But I
Mhm.
experienced a lot in a short period of time. And I could honestly stand today and say, you know what? If it wasn't for those situations, I wouldn't be who I am today. You
Mhm.
know? So with where you are in your current state, mentally, physically, and your passion, your drive for what you're doing, and tell us about what happened, just briefly, about your incarceration situation.
Uh, I was groomed for it. Like a
Yeah.
lot of black men in America. By the time I was 10 years old, I was in the streets, ripping and running.
Hmm.
Um, Back up. Wait, let me do
Okay.
this justice.
Okay. Okay.
Because there are things that we don't talk about in our community,
Hmm.
and so I'm gonna lay this foundation. All right.
Okay.
Um, and at the ripe age of 5, I experienced my first sexual trauma
Mm.
by a female. Then by the age of 7, 8, I had already experienced several sexual traumas by women, and then
Hmm.
I experienced sexual trauma by a group of my peers who were about 5, 6 years older.
Mm.
So by the time I was 10, I had these traumas that I didn't know were
Hmm.
traumas, right?
Hmm.
And then I identified another sexual altercation with an 18-year-old lady uh,
Hmm.
as my conquest, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I was like, that's the first time I had sexual intercourse, and it was great, right? Because as
Yeah.
men, we're told that we need to have these sexual conquests,
Yeah.
right?
It's
As
what makes us a
toxic.
man.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so by the time my mom and who the individual I believe was my father
Hmm.
split up, um, and my stepfather came into the picture, and my real father came into the picture, I had already had these uh, traumas that I didn't know were traumas
Mm.
brewing.
Yeah.
And so at the age of 10, I was introduced to my father, my
Hmm.
stepfather, um, and drugs and alcohol, right?
Mm.
Um, So I was smoking weed at 10. I was having
Yeah.
sex on a regular basis with this older woman at 10. Um, and so by the time I was introduced to gangs
Hmm.
4 years later, I was ready, right?
Yeah.
I was ready for prison. I was ready for street life, right?
Hmm.
And the moment I was no longer scared of my stepfather, I joined a gang, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Um, I went to juvenile detention centers.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was in and out of incarceration um, until the age of 20.
Okay.
Um, and then so that's a whole nother build that we
Yeah. Yeah.
probably could
Yeah.
pick
I'm
up
with
at
you.
a later date
Yeah.
if
Yeah. I'm
I
with
mean,
you.
but because like that, it gets really, really deep, and I want
Yeah. Yeah.
to
But no,
respect the
it's
time.
the point of it though was because people may hear, oh well, they were incarcerated, but for what for? It might have been petty
Yeah.
theft. Maybe you might have stole
Mhm.
some candles or something. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And a lot of people know that okay, you stole some candles and you end up in, you know, whatever position you in later on in life. Yeah, okay, whatever. But
Oh,
no, these were like this. There was a lifestyle that went along with the gang life and
yeah.
patterns and traumatic experiences that took place to bring him to this point, and that's what I really want to highlight to make sure people understood,
Yeah.
because yeah,
Sorry to cut you off. Like
you good,
we
you good.
have to, we have to start to look at that scaffold, right? That there's a process that takes place before Black and brown people end up in this carceral system. We're not even going to talk about the academic side of carcerality yet, right? I'm going to save that for next week when we're with the brothers, right?
Yeah.
But there's a legitimate structural format to how Black and brown people are incarcerated, right? But for me, I was a part of that structure. I just didn't know I was a part of that. Because there were other personal things that were happening that made it easy for me to fall into that structure. And I don't tell people this often. I served 4 years in prison for $5.
See what I'm saying?
Literally for $5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually commit the robbery.
Right.
I was complicit. I was there, but I stopped the individuals from being robbed because a lady was involved, right?
Right.
And if anybody knows anything about street code in the 90s, right, the late 80s, the 90s, women and children didn't get harmed. Like,
right.
That was taboo.
Yeah.
A male,
you're free get all the work.
Like you get everything, right?
You get the work. The whole package.
Because like you couldn't beat on women outside and have like the coward culture that happens today, right? Even some of the things that I myself indulge in, like some of that stuff you couldn't do when we was growing up, right? Because you had to answer to the community. Like the community was there. There was honor, quote unquote.
Right.
I'm literally gonna put that in air quotes.
That's right.
Among thieves, right? But yeah, that my background is gangs and drugs and alcohol and traumas, sexual traumas, emotional traumas, watching my mom and family, domestic violence situations that led me to the carceral system. And then as an adult, led me to do a lot of things that I am still trying to clean up in my ledger.
Sure.
Today. Things that I'm definitely not proud of. But
same here, bro. Yeah. We're here though, man. And that's what matters the most. The present is what matters the most. And that's the thing that I appreciate about men that are not afraid, even in spite of what the past may look like. Like, bro, like you redeeming yourself as we speak. Like every step forward is you redeem yourself from everything negative that happened in the past. You know what I mean? And that's what I put all of my focus on, you know, and thank you again, man, for all that you got going on, man. It's just like I said, bro, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, you know? Yeah. You want to go ahead, Free, ask some questions?
Okay, so I know we talked about your background. We got a somewhat understanding, you know what I'm saying? Because we know it's more in depth, but we got a general understanding of where you're coming from. Now, I know that you said that you were in school and that you're also the first African American councilman in the state, right?
In my borough.
In the borough. Okay. State borough councilman, right?
So we have PA has the most municipalities in the country. And so in my municipality, I'm the first African American, period. Like not just male, like the first African American in the 103 years that the borough has been in existence. We also just elected the first Indian American.
Wow.
And we now have the first Jewish American mayor as well. So like this year we made some history. And the center there's another municipality that also just elected their first African American male to their council. So
nice.
We're making moves here.
Like,
we trying to make change and do our part. In this part of the world.
Nice.
That alone is phenomenal, and we are so proud of you for making those strides and continuing to push. Now I also know that there are other contributions that you've made. There's other areas that you are assisting in and helping others in. Can you tell us about some more of those?
Exactly like what?
Well, like what else do you have going on, like
Other organizations,
community wise, or are
Okay.
you with any other groups?
Yes, I am the founder of Corrective Gentlemen, which is
Okay.
an alternative to incarceration program. I
Okay.
actually started working on it when I was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like the blueprint, like the first time I put it on paper and mapped it out was about 11 years ago.
Wow.
And I ended up taking on like two clients, about 3 or 4 years ago, when I've initially enrolled back into school, simply because I know, as a person who's formerly incarcerated, the doors that get closed on us on a regular basis, and so I've always tried to act as a mentor, because I've been home. This year makes 19 years that I've been free from incarceration.
Congratulations. Yeah.
But I haven't. But it's only been 8 years this year that I've been in recovery, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Which is important for me, because when I'm drinking and smoking and running around in the streets, like, I'm not clear, and so I tend to do things that aren't beneficial, and so I like to be in spaces with other brothers and sisters who experience those things, right? So I've decided that, building this organization would be the best next step.
Yeah.
But I needed more training and more learning, right?
Yeah.
My lived experience is great, right? That. But what does theory? How do you put theory and practice together to actually make something happen?
Right.
And so, I ended up going back to school for criminology. I thought criminology was the path that I needed to figure that out. And what I learned is that my degree is in rehabilitation and human services. So what I learned is that counseling is the path.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Forward. It's identifying traumas. It's learning how to speak about those things. It's about healing. And so over the last few years, that's what I've been trying to perfect, right? How do I be vulnerable, right? And show other formerly incarcerated people and other men in particular how to be vulnerable and heal.
Right.
And so that has led me to, so I'm also a board member for Centerpiece, which is the oldest reentry program in Center County, which is where I live.
Okay.
I sit on the reentry coalition in this area, which is made up of a ton of organizations. I'm the special projects coordinator for the Restorative Justice Initiative.
Okay.
We currently,
oh my goodness.
We currently are teaching and bringing educational programs to incarcerated individuals in 6 correctional facilities. We were just offered to come into 2 additional facilities. I know one facility in particular. I played the huge role, and I'm going to big myself up on this, and making that connection. I mean, because for me, that's important only because last year we were able to pilot the second technological course in the state, right? So we were only one of 2 programs that was able to teach our courses in state prisons via Zoom.
Nice.
So it was that correctional facility that piloted that. And then there's a few other things that I'm doing.
No, that's good. That's good. Well, let me
He's so
piggyback on
modest.
something.
I love it.
He's so chill, right?
I mean, I did this. Oh, I am this. I did this. I did a little bit of this. What else you want to know?
Right. So let me piggyback on something you said, man, because restorative justice has been something I've been harping on for a while. And I really feel like that old community approach to how we serve justice, it's just a lost art, bro. Like, I really believe in the Black community, if we can get back to learning how to police our own communities before our communities were infiltrated by outside police officers, right? I feel like we can do so much more and get so further than we've ever been. But it's here, it's here, bro. And I'm like, we got the power. And now we were just talking to Chesley. We just did an interview with Chesley talking about taxpayers. We have leverage because, for one, we're probably like spend the most money in the United States. You know what I mean? And then for two, like, we're taxpayers too, so we have a voice when it comes down to like what we want the government to do and give back to us. So we can find leverage in those areas. But what we need for ourselves is learning how to police our own communities. Now, I can be a bit controversial because I know MLK birthday is coming up and everything, right? And this is not throwing a jab to anybody, anything, any movement, but I really do feel like, we shouldn't go there free. We're not gonna go there.
You want to go there? Go ahead.
I mean,
integration. Right with you. Go ahead.
Okay, so integration, right? Integration. I really do believe that if integration never happened, we would have been better off. You know what I'm saying? That's in me in my head. And, and I have my reasons, and it actually ties back into how we police our own communities too, and I feel like that's the reason why it came back to my mind as I'm talking. Is like, we used to police our own community. We used to do so much for ourselves. Every time we started advancing, we would get sabotaged somewhere. Either we're turning on our own people and everything collapsed based off of that, or the government steps in and we either get bombed, we either get infiltrated. It's always something. You know what I mean? So every time we take us 2 steps forward, we hit, boom, take about 5, 6 back. So, I just kind of feel like restorative justice for me would be the thing that I would really love to put some focus on. I've actually started looking into some programs on how to do restorative justice within, people that are coming out of jail. Some of the questions, as you may know, like that's coming up for the panel, was kind of based around restorative justice. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that you hit that point, saying that you're on a board with talking about that and educating people on that. So I'm sorry, Free. I've just kind of went on a rant.
No, I'm not opposed to what it was that you stated in regards to some of the integration things, but some of the other issues of Section 8 and that housing crisis also caused a lot of division.
It did
within our community.
Yeah.
And I think that probably further pushed it because now you're separating the man out the house.
It did. So you got the war on drugs happen. Before the war on drugs, the crime rate was at an all-time low. After the war on drugs took place, crime rate in the Black community shot up, and it never went back down ever since. Then the housing, Section 8, the food stamp stuff. There's just so many different things that took place that got us to where we are today. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like all of that was strategically done so we can rely on other people to come in and assist and help us out and give us a better way. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, Tom. What do you think?
This could go so far left. I'm sorry. It could go so far left, bro. Let's put our focus back on you, my brother. I'm sorry. So
okay. So what I'm gonna say first.
Yeah.
And I have to say this.
Okay.
Only because I just have to.
Okay, sure.
So my opinions go on this is just my opinion.
It's your opinion. Thank you for putting that disclaimer out.
And does not
represent you or your organization,
the Borough Council, or any other organizations that I'm a part of. because now it's getting ready to get hot, right?
Yeah. It's okay, and that's good.
So I need to put that there. And
Yeah.
if you want to put that disclaimer at the bottom, that works for me
Yeah,
too.
free. Can you put that down there? Yeah.
Um,
And we're going to do this at the beginning of the panel discussion too. So yeah.
So you said a lot just now. A lot.
Mhm.
And for me, I think restorative practices should have never gone anywhere.
Mhm.
Um, and when we want to, if we want to talk about like our community in general and like the state of our community, we have to always be cognizant of laws, right? And I'm talking about laws from Black codes to Jim Crow,
Yeah, those
to
two.
current day, like to Plessy versus Ferguson.
Yeah,
Like
Ferguson.
if we want to talk about what's the gentleman, Judge Taney and what he said down in St. Louis, where no white man has to respect any rights of a Black person. Like they're so legally,
Yeah.
right? There are things built into our Constitution that has not given us a lot of leeway. And so we've been like, even right now, we're in the process of voter suppression all over again, right? And one of the things I always struggle with is complicity, right? As I'm entering these spaces, I mean, I attend the PWI, right?
Okay.
And being in a primarily white institution, getting this level of education, you learn, right? You learn.
Oh my goodness, they about to come mess with me. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
You good?
Yeah. They gonna probably want me turning my trailer now, but go ahead. I'll mute myself if they do. Go ahead.
I mean, I want to
He's
make sure
double
that
working. Go ahead. He fine. I'm gonna mute him.
I'm gonna mute me free.
I got you.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you good. I just want to make sure he good. We
I'm gonna bring him back. Go ahead.
We have to make sure that we know, right? That old cliche of, if you want to hide something from a Black person, put it in a book. Put it in the book. There's so much information in those books. Literally. Earlier I talked about how when I was studying criminology, I learned that they know.
Mute me real quick, free.
The government knows who's going to attend prison by your standardized test scores in the 3rd grade. They budget for that, right? So talking about policing ourselves, getting back to Black Panther days and organizations like that, how do you know what to do if you aren't even picking up a book, right? I used to say, prior to me taking on this position, if we can't have a right to bear arms, a right to vote, and a right to take public office, how do we ever expect ourselves to govern our communities, right? So I now, and this is one of the things that I'm really excited about. So I know I can't possess a firearm at the moment. I'm gonna start working on that next, right? But I'm in public office now. I have the right to vote, right? So I am now setting a standard where it's like, I can govern and lead in my community effectively, right? Because we are learning to take positions of power, right? And it's not just I don't want to call them Uncle Toms. It's not. It's not from a place of complicity, right? It's from a. I'm actually in the community. I actually know what's going on with the community.
Yeah.
I'm not in this space because I want power, right?
Mhm.
I'm in this space because you need to hear us, all of us, right? And that's the thing with most politicians that I don't like is like, why did you go into politics? Once you get there, what happened? Are you forgetting that you represent people, and in making your decisions, are you asking those people? And so when you want to look at restorative practices and bringing the community together, are you asking people? Are you dictating to people? Are you showing? Are you working to heal a harm, or are you perpetuating a harm? Right? What is your actual role? Right? And are you even aware of what you're doing? Right? Something that's really important to me is self-reflection. Right? I'm always reflecting. I might not always want to take accountability for my actions, but I'm always reflecting. And I'm also learning to apologize.
Progress.
But it's because I don't like being that person who talks about something and I can't practice it myself. Right? I can't ask you to trust me and to do things if I can't trust myself and do the same things that I'm asking. I never sent a little homie to go do something that I wasn't willing to go do myself, or I wasn't standing next to him to do. So that doesn't change. The game doesn't change because you left the street. Actually, what I've no, never mind. I won't go there. I was about to make a lot of political enemies.
Yeah. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
I'm gonna leave that right there.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But I'll say this: politicians are gangsters. So
well-dressed gangsters.
Yeah. So now we get it.
Okay. So with that being stated, Lemoy, I don't know if you caught the portion.
I missed some of it.
Divine was talking about they know who's going to jail based on your standardized testing scores from 3rd grade.
Really?
Yeah, budgets are built that way. And a warden told me that.
That's good to know. That's interesting.
It's a structure.
And
sociologists and criminologists know how to prevent crime.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We've known for well over 100 years how to do it. We also know things like redlining. I won't even touch the war on drugs. Like you touched that, and that in itself, we need to dig into J. Edgar Hoover.
Yes.
Right? And FBI, like that. That's a whole nother conversation on how you dismantled the Black family and the Black communities. Like again, so how do we take ownership, right, in our own communities? We can't talk about the $1 billion tax revenue that we spend every year if we can't even talk about colorism and self-hatred. Right? We can't talk about building the community together if we can't talk about how I'd rather be a lawyer and defend individuals who actually commit crimes and some of the heinous crimes, but I don't want to be a real estate lawyer to figure out how to buy this land and make it into a corporation, or how to say, you know what, I'm going to be a lawyer to dismantle the system. We don't want to become prosecutors and DAs in order to actually say, you know what, this shouldn't even be a crime. I'm no longer going to prosecute this offense through my office. And it can be done. It can be done because the DA in Philly is doing it, right? Larry Krasner He's pissing DAs off across the country. But under his leadership, over 20-something wrongfully convicted individuals have come home in the state of Pennsylvania because he built an integrity, a conviction integrity unit, and start reviewing cases and firing people because they were doctor information. So what are we doing as a community, right? Where are those lawyers and doctors and people who are saying, I'm going to do this because it's the right thing to do? My sister, my sister keeps going to the doctor. She keeps going to see these white doctors, right? And they keep telling her, you're fine, go home. The mortality of Black women when they go to the hospitals and they seek medical help is high. So what are we talking about when we're really talking about building our communities, right? When we're talking about I hate Black on Black crime because crime happens in the proximity of where you live. So when we
Black homicide,
when we talk that's about like when we talk about Black homicide or fatherless homes, or like, are we talking about the structural design that made this happen, or are we saying it's your fault, you should know better, you should do better? Did you pick up a book?
Right.
Did you read this? How do you take, again, that lived experience, that theory and practice, and put it together?
Right.
So, I mean,
Free, you want to say something?
Yes, you want to say something. I'm sorry.
No, when you were going through it, I was just like, or like the fact that we still sweep stuff under the rug when it comes to sexual misconduct in family homes, and that uncle that everybody knows it does stuff, and they still have them around. All these babies, these things that we don't discuss, or aunts, or little cousins, or god cousins, or just not condemning wrongful behavior, and even down to like you said, it being a badge of honor. Sorry, my daughter was like, or it being a badge of honor for some people who have these experiences, and as adults, we have to tell them, like, do you know you were molested? Like, do you know that wasn't okay? Like, do you know these things? But not only that, do you think it comes down to nobody wants to be that martyr? That people are not wanting to sacrifice themselves because they know that it could eventually be their lives.
Or what about all these Black celebrities that's making all these millions of dollars? You know, or if the government's job is to create services for us based off of our tax dollars that's being spent, we got a lot of needs. You know, we need a liaison or somebody that can step in the gap and build those systems and present to the government or whoever is in charge, so we can get some more things in place for our communities.
But
Ice Cube said that.
Who did that?
Ice Cube said that.
Oh well, yeah.
And we bashed him as a community.
I seen that.
You don't speak for us.
Yeah.
Who gave you that authority?
I seen that.
And what did the current administration do?
You're right.
As soon as they got in the office, they kicked Black people
they kicked them to the curb.
Literally, right out the truck, like, boop, goodbye. I don't need you no more. I'm here. They also just slander Charlemagne the God. Never mind.
Yeah. Asking Kamala Harris about
So let me ask you this, because we're constantly at a point of being.
Free, you froze.
Free, you froze up. Free, you froze up, love.
Oh, Lamar, you're gonna get me in trouble, brother.
I'm sorry, man. You know, we can talk about these kind of discussions, man. This is supposed to be a 30-minute discussion. Actually, 15.
45 minutes.
It's all good. It's all good. But she's gonna log off and log back in.
That's cool.
But no, but there's just so much to discuss, though, man. I think we may need to bring you back for real, though. In fact, we were just talking to Chesley about some of these same discussions, and we were talking about possibly doing a panel discussion about this, just like these discussions about the Black community. I know next Saturday is going to be dynamic, and we're going to discuss a lot of heavy hitting questions. But I think what we're talking about now is a bit more direct, and we just need so much help, man. I
We
don't
need
know.
action items. That's the
And
thing.
these action
Yes.
items.
It's
Thank
action
you,
items
Free.
because
Thank you.
we've all acknowledged like there's an issue. We're like, hey, we all know that. How do we fix it? How do we
Mhm.
make it better? Divine said something about you want to keep something from a black person, put it in a book.
Put it in the book. Yeah.
So now, but this becomes the issue too. We want somebody to tell us.
Yeah.
I don't want to go read it. I don't want to search it. Just tell me what to do.
Yeah, just tell me what it is.
But
Yeah.
I think that's a systematic approach as well because they influx us with so much information. Like social media in general is so much information. You're full whether you want it to be fed or not.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to get up and go to be like, let me go research this. Or now you're trying to say, well, is this a valid site? Is this not valid? There's no encyclopedias for these babies no more in schools.
Mm-mm.
They're just like, go Google it. Google might not always tell you the right answer. Or they're going to tell you the answer that you want to know.
But Google has Google Scholar.
Yeah, thank you.
So
that's another source. Yeah.
If you use Google, you can also type in Google Scholar.
Google
That's
Scholar.
going to give you research and peer-reviewed information. Right? So, and so does other sites, right? I don't just read American news. I read BBC. So I don't pick up newspapers and like I literally get my news from online.
Yeah.
But it's from several different sources.
Yeah.
But what we also have to acknowledge, right, is what is all of this information doing to us as humans, right? We're being flooded with so much information. I disconnected my social media, I want to say the last 3 weeks of December. And I felt so refreshed.
So good. So good.
And not only came back because I knew it was time to get sworn in and take office. And a lot of the constituents, not everyone, but I deal with a lot of the constituents via social media. So but I don't want to be on social media anymore because it's addictive, right? It's addictive.
Distraction.
I want to be on it every day. I'm not reading. So what I've started doing last week before, and my wife said I probably shouldn't, and I probably should listen to her, but I'm not. I've been feeding myself. I've been watching Martin Luther King in the Wilderness. I've watched Panther twice already. I watched X. We just got caught up on Women of the Movement.
Okay.
I've been watching so many Black Power movement information, movies, documentaries. I'm halfway through Bell Hooks documentary. Because I'm also out of PWI. And I'm going to say that again, right? Because the information that I'm being fed consistently is one-sided, right? And if you don't go searching for additional information, culturally appropriate information, you'll be distracted. And so what does that look like on both ends, right? I can feed myself a bunch of Black information and then I'll be straight militant, right? And I want to kill up the whole world. Or I can feed myself a bunch of theories from people who aren't culturally aware, and I'll believe that Black people are just lazy and need to pull up themselves by the bootstrap if they want to change the world or change their circumstances. Too much of either is not good.
It's not good.
So where do you strike that balance with the information that you're taking in? Right? Where do you strike that balance to say this is a system built for the elite, right? And as a Black or brown person, and I'm going to throw this out here because I haven't said it yet, and a poor white person,
Mm.
right? Because it's important to pit poor white people against black and brown people, because that's how you keep that level of distraction. But anyway,
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
so when you feed information, too much of all that information on one side or the other, you get extreme left or you get extreme right, and no one is in the middle having the conversations that we need to have. So I'm not with complete segregation. I do believe integration hit us hard and hasn't given us a space to recover. But where do we find that love, right? That self-love, not that fake I'm woke, right?
Right.
What the hell does that mean?
Right.
Smoke.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
because some of the actions of woke individuals is still toxic,
and there are none. A lot of woke people aren't. Go ahead.
Eyes are closed, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean, right? And so now I even hear, I don't like the. I hear some white folks that's like, oh, let's go these woke people, and it's like, but those people aren't woke, right? And so now you're manipulating like what things actually mean. You mentioned Dr. King earlier. And I'm sorry, I'm like really rambling now.
No, you're good. You're good. But we will have to wrap it up in a sec. My phone's gonna die, but I don't want to die while we're on the live.
Yeah. So let me just say this really.
Go ahead and
quick.
say it.
So like right now we see this heavy attack on critical race theory, right?
That's everywhere. Yeah.
And what you see from the people who are attacking critical race theory, they're using Dr. King, right, as the epitome of like why critical race theory is wrong. But if you read the introduction to critical race theory, it tells you that this theory was formatted because people took Martin Luther King's nonviolent movement and the civil rights era as a way to manipulate the fact that there's structural designs that were put in place to cripple the Black and brown communities, particularly from a legal standpoint. So critical race theory is a legal theory, right? It's not, most K through 12 schools are not teaching critical race theory. That is a legal theory. But if I can force people to tell the truth, I don't want my kids to know the truth. So I'm going to say critical race theory is forcing people to tell the truth. No, that legal theory says, hey, you have to take into account my intersectionalities, right? That I'm Black. Not only am I Black, I'm a Black male that comes from a low socioeconomic status in a community that has been plagued with violence and drugs. And so I have already been introduced and destined, right, by my third grade educational scores that because I'm not a great tester, that I'm very likely to go into the system that you already built and started planning for. And that same educational system and structure is taught by the white women who you put in place to feed us the same information from predominantly white institutions that only read predominantly white information and theories that put in practice, and then you want to put them into Black and brown neighborhoods so that they can help civilize and educate those poor, helpless individuals who can't seem to get themselves out of this terrible, terrible situation.
This is kind of stuff that we can talk about for like hours, bro. We were just telling Chesley the same thing. We can go in for hours on these kind of discussions, man.
It's heavy. It's heavy because there's a need to do something. And so this can't be the last discussion about this.
Nah,
And I
we're
mean,
gonna we're gonna create a panel discussion. We're gonna bring you back with Chesley for sure, and we're gonna find 2 more panelists so we can really find some action points, to kind of harp on and see what we can start doing. Yeah, yeah.
You can't tell a person not to sell drugs if you don't have a viable income, right? I can't tell you, selling drugs is wrong.
Right.
Feeding your family is wrong.
Right.
If I in turn can't say, well, I opened this construction company and we have this $1 million contract coming up. I can pay you $25 an hour, where you at least are making that $1,700 a week. Or I started a trucking company, and if you go get your CDL, right? I know from doing bill of ladings when I did shipping and receiving that if you do long haul with a person, like that's $4,000 for 3 days worth of work. You split that in half with a team, that you made two fucking
you made $2,000. Go ahead.
You made $2,000.
Yeah, you're good
for being on the road 3 days.
Yeah.
But I own this trucking company as a Black man, so I can now hire you.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah.
What do we own?
Yeah. That's real talk,
no
man.
ownership, right?
Oh man. So yeah, we're gonna set it up, and we're gonna get you back on the show. And got to, man, because like I said, I don't want my battery to die either, so I'm gonna have to log off. And then they keep hounding me about this trailer, so I got to go turn this trailer in. But no, man, thank you so much. Share your social media information, your site, and everything, so people could know where to find you.
He said no. He said no.
So if you want to connect, you can go to Corrective Gentleman. I'm not going to answer people on my political site.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like, my personal site is probably going to get shut down. So Corrective Gentleman at Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. It's the best places to find me. Otherwise, if you are formerly incarcerated at any state and you need resources, please feel free to reach out to my Corrective Gentleman account, and I will send you my personal information and try to link you to someone in your state. I know people in every state, and if I don't know someone in your location, I know people who know people in your location. And that is for all formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters, Black, brown, white, and different. We all we got. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you need some type of resources.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. That's phenomenal. And for those of you that have not followed the Kool Spot yet, please follow the Kool Spot at on Facebook, at thekoolspot.com. Check out the website. We are having our first official panel discussion that's going to be heavy. And if you guys are watching this, I'm sure you probably already watched the other 3 interviews that we've done with the panelists that we're going to have on Saturday, January 22nd at noon Eastern Standard Time. Please tune in. It's going to be a ball. We have some heavy hitting questions. We have some heavy hitters on here. And if you guys, we know who Divine Lipscomb is, you know what I'm saying? So we got a good idea on what he's going to present and the temperament that's going to be presented on the panel discussion as well. So please tune in.
Okay.
Yeah. Tune
Get
in.
your reminders. The Kool Spot.
Set your reminders.
Sign up. We'll send you the link.
That's it. Set your reminders. Go to the website. Don't connect your calendar, but click on the calendar on the website. It'll have a link, and it'll automatically send a calendar invite to your personal calendar with the link for the live stream, so you can watch when the calendar reminder comes up. Click on the link, bring you straight to the Kool Spot website. You can watch the live stream live from the website. Check us out on YouTube, the Kool Spot. That's cool with a K, and also Facebook and Instagram. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
This has been phenomenal. Free, you want to take us out, Free?
We're going to catch y'all next time. Enough has been said. Soak that knowledge up. Thank you, Divine.
Thank you, King.
Your Kool Spot crew. We're going to see y'all next week. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to see y'all. And we out.
Oh, yeah.